y'all, it's Jay here from Jay's Decor and Restore, headed out to the garage for another project. I'm going to be working on a vintage dining room table. It is a beautiful piece. The chairs have a whole lot of character to it. They are pretty dinged up and have quite a few stains on the cushions, so I'm going to be reupholstering the cushions and then painting the chairs with a white chalk paint. The table I'm going to stain with a dark stain on the top of the table, and the base will be painted white. I'm really not going to go into the dining room table because you've seen me stain and you've seen me paint. And if you haven't seen some of my other videos, check them out. But I did want to show you a few things that I think will be helpful when painting chairs. So let's head on down and get started. Here's a closer look at the dining room table. It's a beautiful piece. It does have quite a few scratches, and some of the stain has started to fade off. Has a leaf on each side that you can pull up, and then the legs that have a lot of character to them. Before I take the cushions off the chairs, I wanted to give you a closer look. As you can see, that there's a lot of stains on the cushions, and you can't see in the light here, but there are a lot of scratches on the legs in the back of the chair. But overall, they're beautiful. They have a lot of just character and that you can't find nowadays. So I'm going to go ahead and start pulling these cushions off. So I want to share a few tips on painting with chalk paint when you're painting chairs. First of all, I'm using the Rust-Oleum Chalk Linen White paint. And I've used it before, but I've never painted chairs with chalk paint. Chalk paint is not as forgiving. If you have any drip marks that you don't find, it'll dry quickly, as you can see from here. Then you have to sand it. So don't add too much paint when you're painting, and then stay in the same area until it's completely covered so you can catch any drip marks before they dry. All right, now that I have finished painting the chairs, it's time to recover the seat. This is one of the cushions of the seat, and as you can see, it's in pretty bad shape. Stains, there's a, looks like a cigarette hole there. It was burned on there. And, you know, simply recovering a cushion can make a whole lot of difference for a chair. So I'm gonna go ahead and just show you just the real quick technique that I use. I've already started to pull apart the material. I saved one corner here so that you can see how I go about doing this. And simply taking a screwdriver, and I start to pull up on the material. So very carefully, you don't want to hurt yourself, but firmly you want to be able to pull these up. And sometimes the staples will come out easily, and sometimes they're a little bit more difficult. Now that I have removed the fabric, I have a lot of these little staples sticking up. And so what you want to do is, I'm using some needle nose pliers to just pull them out, and that way when you restaple the other fabric, you don't have a bunch of sharp points coming up. So that's just it can be a little bit tedious, but not too bad. So I'm going to keep working on this, and then when I get ready to put the other fabric on, I will start taping again. Okay, so I flipped the seat over, the cushion seat over, and surprisingly enough, I was able to salvage most of the cushion or the batting that was used on the chair. I pulled out the part that had the cigarette burn in there. And so just to add just one more layer to kind of compensate for what I pulled off, I bought this thin batting. It's really used for baby blankets, but I wanted to just make sure I had the same amount of cushion on this as I had for the other seat cushions. And I'm just gonna lay it on top, and then I've already cut my fabric to fit. So I'm gonna flip this over. Here, and position it correctly here. And this is really pretty easy. This is the easiest part of it all, is you just simply take the fabric and make sure that you are tight. It's fitting up tight around the wood and the rest of the cushion. And I do the sides first because it's easier for me to determine where I need to make the adjustments. Since this is not a complete square cushion, I want to make sure I can make the proper adjustment. So I just simply take it, taking a stapler, pull on the fabric here. I'm going to actually fold it a little bit so it's not so much fabric left at the bottom. And you simply staple it down. Just keep pulling on it tight as you staple. And that's pretty much it. I'm gonna keep working on it, and then I'll show you what it looks like afterward. So now look how great these chairs look. If you remember what they looked like before, I'll post another picture so you can see. But I want to get closer and show you how the finished cushion came out. I think it came out beautifully. I bought this fabric at Hobby Lobby. It was 30% off, so I got a great deal on it. And with the chalk paint, this whole thing looks like brand spanking new. Well, another project done. And I think the table turned out magnificent. The color is, the richness of this color I just love. Along with that white base, it just really kind of makes it pop. And the white chairs and the gray in the cushions just kind of brings it all together to give that kind of contemporary new look to it. It was a great vintage piece, but just needed some work. And I think all the colors just come together so well. So hopefully whoever buys it, because I will be selling this, will love it as much as I do. And as always, I ask you, please support my channel by sharing and subscribing and liking. Your support means so much to me. Well, until next time in my next project, I look forward to seeing you again. And as always, cheers to you.